Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Black Butler, chapter 174. When we last left our heroes, Baldroy was kind of starting to get to know some of the other patients at Athena Sanatorium. He introduced himself as Matthew Berg again, though this time he said he fought in a war in North Africa, I think, despite the fact that last time, when he was talking to Ada and Ronald Knox, he mentioned fighting in a war in Arizona. That might end up kind of being his undoing, perhaps. Either way, the next day, he's given a tour of the facilities. There's one room where he starts to get suspicious that they might be doing the blood drawing in there, until Ada and Knox show him the next room, helpfully titled The Blood Drawing Room. So let's see where we go from here. In chapter 174, The Butler Treating. And our picture here is of Lau and Baldroy, lounging on a bench and Lau standing as the two of them both smoke. They smoke the same flavor, but their eyes do not meet. And we see Baldroy's instant reaction. The blood drawing room? We were looking for this. I can't believe they're so open about it. What the hell is this woman thinking? And Ada, already with a perfect excuse, I'm betting. Here we draw blood from patients and provide them to a certain research institution. This is how we contribute to advancement in medicine. Okay, so here's going to be my theory. My theory is that Ada is not in any way a servant of the Undertaker. Neither is Knox. Though Knox, when I explain the rest of my theory, is going to be a little bit in an odder position. Because I think Ada genuinely believes what she is doing is a contribution to the advancement of medicine. But the person she is, donating the blood to is the Undertaker. She is one of the providers of the Undertaker's, the four stars, but she doesn't know it. The question that then raises is, how does Knox fit into that? Because Knox should have the kind of supernatural lens to view this through. So he should have a kind of general idea of, or at least he should know something of what Undertaker is up to, I think. Anyway, Lau asks, a certain research institution? Yes. Athena Sanatorium Performer Servicemen is fully funded by them. We receive more support than other sanatoriums because we provide the specimens. The traditional operating model of solely relying on donations is too precarious for us to serve all our patients properly. So does that actually kind of coincide with a historical shift in the funding of hospitals? Like, in this time period, hospitals, or specifically veterans hospitals, were funded by donations, and then they eventually got funded by this sort of providing other things. You know what I mean? I've lost the word I'm looking for. Anyway, Ada, clenches her fist. And we cannot, and this is Ada still, guide our patients back to society without adequate nursing care. And Knox looks at her from behind her and starts to flip through his book, the book of Names of the Dead, right? We don't really linger on that as we come back to Ada. However, we only draw blood from young patients who are strong enough and have agreed to have blood drawn from them. Baldroy's kind of shocked. Young Master said this group makes people unconscious, then bleeds them dry. We flash back to some of the Sphere Music Hall stuff, as I recall. Though I forget the exact context of that, because again, it's been 4 or 5 years since Sphere Music Hall. Sphere Music Hall, by the way, was finished when I started reviewing Black Butler for this channel. That's how long it's been. Anyway, that little side note out of the way, we hear a ringing as Connie sits up. Ada, I'm done. Good, I'll remove your tubing. And then Ada continues, Connie, you provided half a pint of blood this month as well. And Connie sort of laughs. No problem. I thank you for your cooperation. And Baldroy is stunned, probably by just how completely genuine Ada feels here. And then Connie tells him, we'll draw again next month. Are you sure that's enough? If I can be of any help, you can take my blood every day. And Ada just snaps. I will never allow that. And everyone's kind of stunned. We see once again Ada's complete dedication to health. Like, there was some sort of suspicion thrown on her after last chapter when she caught Baldroy sneaking around at night. But I'm starting to believe that is 100% genuine. The reason she was upset was not that Baldroy was snooping, getting close to some secret she doesn't want discovered, but genuinely because it was bad for his health. Everyone's kind of stunned at Ada's outburst, and she kind of realizes that an outburst was not the right move there. Well, lack of blood leads to poor health. Bloodletting was supposed to be effective for febrile illnesses, but statistics showed otherwise. Bloodletting, for those of you who are not aware, as the note tells us, medical treatment where blood was withdrawn from the body was frequently used until the mid-19th century. I could go into a good bit of detail on bloodletting, as I'm a little bit familiar with the topic, but I'm not going to, because this is not really that video. You can Google that on your own, if you want to. Interesting stuff there. Anyway, Ada tells him, I want you to eat well and get plenty of rest, so you can recover. And Connie laughs, you worry too much, Ada. I'll never be sick here. And Ada agrees, no, I won't allow that to happen. And Baldroy is kind of stunned at how much he did not expect this from the blood drawing room. Just then, someone else sits up. Hey, I'm done. Me too, and a third person, and Ada tells them all, thanks, everyone. Have some hot tea downstairs, and rest up before you return to your ward. And all of them kind of walk down the stairs chatting, and Baldroy kind of listens to them as Ada approaches him. I will not force you to donate your blood. Your family gave us a donation when you were admitted here. But if your condition approves and you're strong enough, and then she bows in front of him, then I would like to ask for your cooperation. And Baldroy kind of laughs, scratching his cheek. Sure, I'll think about it. And we see Knox again. For the first time since that suspicious page-checking set of panels. Maybe he was checking up on Baldroy dying soon? Or Ada dying soon? Or someone dying soon? I don't know. Anyway, we cut to some time later. I think it's Baldroy and Lau talking outside the sanatorium. And I'm trying to get a read on who's talking there. Because there's no arrows on the speech bubbles, but one of them says, well, never did I imagine they'd show their hand so early. And then, whoever it was, Lau's talking now, I find it anticlimactic, as they saved us the trouble of investigating the sanatorium. And Baldroy responds, kind of forlornly, now that he's sort of seeing the good that Ada is doing. Yeah, you're right. And Lau just continues on nonchalantly. I was able to leave the hustle and bustle of the city and come to a place where the air is fresh, so I wanted to relax a little more. So, how do we kill them? Lau is just jumping right on in, and Baldroy is just kind of stunned. Going one by one with a gun or a knife is no easy task. The quick way would be to stage a fake fire and burn down this place. And Baldroy snaps, hey, wait a sec! And Lau looks at him, But why? Come. This blood collection facility harms the interests of the Earl. What did you come here for, Master Cook? And that is the end. Once again, a very short chapter. And it is sort of feeling like this is nowhere near the problems I had with Heathfield. But it is still kind of starting to feel like just not enough is happening in any given chapter. This feels like it should be maybe at best. This is really, at best 2/3 of a chapter, if not half a chapter or less. like we get the little bit of information about Ada. We is really just kind of there to show us Ada, in my opinion. Show that Ada is fiercely dedicated to the advancement of science, to the betterment of her patients. Above all else, that is her goal. So it's there to show us that, and to set up perhaps a conflict between Lau and Baldroy, as Lau cares very little for the moral things, which has kind of always been his thing, right? He's just, here as an ally of Ciel, and Ciel needs the bloodletting to stop, or needs the blood drawing to stop, because it is helping Undertaker, and so we just gotta kill them. Which, admittedly, there are many more steps you could take before murder, but I'll give that as part of Lau's past just kind of predisposes him to just start killing people. Or more like his present, his day job. It's what he does. He's like, not a mob boss, but you know what I mean. That sort of vibe. So yeah, if this were, I think it's like 14-page chapter, right? Yeah, like a 14-page chapter. If this were 14 pages of like a full-size chapter, this would be pretty good. It's a pain in the ass that, like, this is all we get for a month. Because it honestly feels sort of hard to review, because it's so much just like a tiny part of a chapter. Like, it feels like we're missing. It feels like there should be more to a chapter, which, I mean, could be true for any Black Butler chapter for the past 4 or 5 years now. But for some reason, it feels like it's more worth repeating for this chapter. I don't really know why. So I also do think it's kind of important to note that, like, this arc is all, like, I think it's a more minor complaint than it is in Heathfield, because this arc is just, like, better than Heathfield. I'm more engaged. We're not getting sidetracked by random 8-month-long flashbacks that have nothing to do with the plot at hand. Like, that whole arc was a mess. And this arc, pre-Heathfield, I was kind of under the impression that when all of this was out, and we could read it at a decent pace, not 15 pages a month, the Blue Cult would by and large acquit itself. And I kind of lost that impression under the hellscape of the Mayrin flashback. But this is an arc that I'm kind of inclined to start feeling that way again. That, like, the content we get here, the only real problem I have with it is that it's so little, which is not exactly damning criticism. Like, none of this feels superfluous, like so much of Heathfield did. All of this feels like it's setting things up, and it's just a pain in the ass that it's only 15 pages. And I don't know if Yana is just, like, still working on Twisted Wonderland. I don't exactly know if that's, like, a continually updating game, or if it's, like, it's released and now it's done sort of thing. Or if Yana just got used to the 15-page structure when she was doing Twisted Wonderland and is stuck with it. I don't really know. But I really, like, it's chapters like this that make me really wish Yana was doing 40-page chapters again. Like, I recently picked up the first volume again, and, like, there are 50-page chapters in that volume, and this is, like, 15. So yeah, there's a lot to like here, and there's a lot of hints going forward. There's that very, like, 3 panels of continuous suspicious knocks going on in the background as he just, like, reads his Shinigami book. And, I do like Baldroy. I like seeing Baldroy's sort of, grow, or kind of mini arc throughout in the background of this chapter. First he's just like, I can't believe that Ada's this upfront about her evilness. And then as Ada talks, he realizes that Ada is just, like, not the bad guy at all. That she is genuinely helping people. And, like, sure, in the end, it's kind of being used by the Undertaker, but she doesn't know that, and she is saving people. She thinks that she is benefiting medical science in the doing. And so Baldroy is like, yeah, I'll help out. You know, even with Baldroy knowing what the blood is in the end being used for, he is moved by her impassioned pleas, by her fervent belief in the inherent goodness of what she's doing. Like that's a really neat shift to show over like 7 or 8 pages. Um, and that in turn sets up this conflict with Lau. Lau doesn't really have a lot in the way of morality, and he just does not give a damn. You know, he is here to destroy the bloodletting facility, and that means he has to kill Ada. Um, and like, like Baldroy is not about that, and so I imagine next chapter is going to very much kind of center that conflict. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And yeah, I mean, besides the length, which I mean, I should kind of be used to it by now. This is a really good chapter. This arc is really shaping up. I do wish it were again like twice as fast. Had twice as many pages per month, but I can't force that. So yeah, yeah, that's all I gotta say for this chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!